Donald Trump is replacing all of the IGs.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the different ways in which this administration is completely corrupt and using taxpayer dollars and orienting the agencies towards their own purposes.
So, I just want to say to anybody who's watching this, who's not kind of in the weeds, talk just a minute about what an IG is. IG stands for Inspector General. And a pretty cool title, actually. And all of our agencies have an Inspector General, and it's a person who's independent from the rest of the agency. Job is protected, supposedly. And that person is the one who investigates how the agency does its job. So, the agency has a travel budget. Did it really get spent on travel? The agency is supposed to make sure that loans are made. Are those loans made fairly and above board and not special terms to campaign donors or family friends? IGs are just a basic good government. They're not Democrats, they're not Republicans. That's not the point. It's to hold all of our government accountable. Now, I can tell you, as somebody who actually set up an agency, I set up the CFPB. It's a little scary to have the IG come in and want to go through all your records and see how you've done. But when I finished the first year of setting up CFPB, I had actually then not one IG, but two, because the agency was set up in the Treasury Department and then moved to the Fed. And so both IGs went over all our documents, and that's a good thing. Went over our hiring, went over our security measures. When Joe Biden was helping manage the TARP for President Obama during the 2008 crash, Joe Biden invited an IG in order to double check his work. And that's just pretty much how all this has worked forever. Sometimes they turn out really great reports and we feel good when that happens, like they did with the CFPB. Sometimes they turn out reports that say you got a problem here. And that's how you have transparency to the public, and that's how you make the agency work better. Donald Trump has now fired 4 IGs. And he has said he just doesn't want oversight. In fact, we've got a clip of him saying he is the oversight. And that's the problem that we've got. We have just seen now, there's this lobbying bonanza that has resulted in giant public companies getting to the front of the line for relief in the coronavirus bailouts. Watchdogs and IGs get fired. Promises made to muzzle independent oversight. Senior White House officials, as you rightly point out, with all sorts of financial conflicts, managing the pandemic response. And President Donald Trump putting himself and his buddies first every step of the way. So we introduced, you and I, the CORE Act to try to change that. And the whole idea behind this is to empower and protect inspectors general, to prevent conflicts of interest, to strengthen oversight and enforcement, and to stop any government-sanctioned profiteering and corruption. Donald Trump has made clear during this pandemic that his only priority is himself and his family, his billionaire buddies. The president's actions send a clear signal to Congress and to the public that stronger anti-corruption provisions are urgently needed to stem the tide of this crisis and to make Washington work for families during this pandemic when it matters most, to make it work for families and not just for big corporations, for the wealthy and the well-connected. So I think this is a crucial point. I think it's a point around confidence. I just want to mention one other part to this, Pramila, because I think it fits in here. And that is about recognizing that corruption is also a public health risk. It's not only about the money that leaks out here, it's that the American people should not have to worry about whether or not their government is going to invest in particular COVID-19 vaccine or a drug treatment because of the drug company's connections to Donald Trump or his buddies. We want a government that's acting on science, not on corruption. And to me, that's just one more reason. We need to vote out Donald Trump in November. We need to elect Joe Biden. We need someone in government, we need a president who understands that oversight is vital to an effective democracy.